In this video, we're going to have a look at the estimate phase schedule, specifically when to use it, how to create it, how to move things around, and how to share it. Jumping into my account now, and the tab I'm talking about is the Schedule tab in the Estimate section. As a note, there is a Schedule tab in the Job section once you turn an estimate into a job, but this one is just for the estimate version. The schedule in the estimate is really good if you want to build a timeline to help budget the job, or if you want to share it with a client, or both. It's not really focused on who's doing what work. It's purely around time frame management. The one in the job, on the other hand, covers things like who's assigned to tasks, marking completion, and updating the timeline as the job progresses. The schedule here in the estimate phase is kind of like a first draft. And if you do use the estimate schedule and then create a job, all the work you did here will transfer into the job schedule. You can continue using it there and have the additional options to assign tasks and track progress. All right, having covered that, there are a couple of ways to create your schedule. You can start building it directly from the estimate costing screen using the T buttons along the right-hand side of your line items. Clicking the T button pulls that line item into your schedule, and it follows the same order you have in your estimate. But you can always edit and rearrange things later if you want to. One thing to note, if a line item doesn't have a cost, the T button will appear grayed out. That's because the schedule won't pull in items without a cost. That said, you can always add items manually to your schedule, whether they don't have a cost or there's something outside of the estimate you want to include as a task. Moving over to the Schedule tab, we have two views, the list view on the left and the Gantt chart on the right. Right now, all of my tasks are collapsed into their categories, but you can open them by clicking up the up and down arrows on the left-hand side. This will expand or collapse your categories. If you'd prefer to see only certain categories open while keeping others collapsed, you can use the horizontal arrow next to the category title in the list view to open or collapse individual categories. I'll expand the entire list so you can see that everything I selected with the T button is now in the schedule. I didn't have to type all these out manually, and the T button is really handy for this. The other option for creating your schedule is to do it manually. You can always click Add Category, give it a name, press Save, and to add tasks within a category, you can click the plus button along the right-hand side of the list. By default, new categories will appear at the bottom of your list, but you can move them wherever you like by clicking, holding, and dragging them to your preferred spot. Same goes for the tasks within your categories. From there, I like to start color coding my categories before moving them around or adjusting their durations, but that's just personal preference. To color code, you can either double-click the category in the list view or click the category in the Gantt chart. You'll see a color option to the right. Click the drop-down and choose a color. Once you select a color, all items within that category will adopt it. This makes it much easier to visually see your tasks and how they're organized. Now I'll start editing my dates and durations. You can do this either by double-clicking the tasks in the list view on the left, or by using the drag and drop method on the Gantt chart. Again, just personal preference, but I'll demonstrate both so you can see the difference. First, using the Gantt chart. Right now, I have two tasks within the General Requirements category. If I want to move both or all the tasks in that category, I can click, hold, and drag the category name, and all the tasks move together. This is handy if you need to shift tasks quickly as a group. To move tasks individually, you do the same thing. Click, hold, and drag. As you move a task, the category bar stretches to show the overall duration of all the tasks in that category, which is nice if you want to provide a high-level overview of the schedule. We can collapse the list and see the overall duration of the categories in the schedule. From there, you can change the duration of a task by clicking the dots on the left or the right-hand side. Click, hold, drag, and it'll snap into place. You can also add dependencies if one thing needs to rely on another. To create them, drag from the end dot of one task onto the start dot of another. You can also link start dot to start dot. It just depends on how you want to connect them. And to remove one, just double-click the line and click delete. When you link end to start, the dependency is sensitive to the end date of that task. So if the task extends or moves, the following items shift as well. If you use start to start, it's based on the start date of the task. Play with both options and see which works best for you. Now, the second way of making changes would be by double-clicking into either the category or the task. And you'll see the same options for start, end date, duration, dependencies, rearranging the order of the tasks. But the only difference here is that you have the option to add internal notes, which is only visible to you. Next, we'll quickly look at some settings. Most of these are more relevant to the job schedule that comes once we create the job, but a few apply here too. Over on the right-hand side, the settings are in the little gear button. You can use the auto dependency option if you want to link tasks manually. In this case, moving one task would shift everything below it as dependent. You can also toggle whether weekends are excluded from your schedule durations. Similarly, you can mark non-working days, like public holidays or personal days off when no work will happen at the site. These days will show as a blue bar on your timeline and are treated the same as excluded weekends when calculating duration. For example, a task may have a duration of 2 days, but if it falls on a weekend, it might visually stretch to 4 days on the timeline. This is just because the weekends are excluded from the count. There are also options to delete all items, zoom in and out, and so on, just general usability tools. Now that we've built the schedule, let's look at how to share it. This applies the same way for both the estimate and the job schedule. You can share as a task list, which is just the left-hand side list, and you can choose the format, Excel, PDF, or Word. You can also set the date range. That way, you stay in control of what the client sees. The task list is exactly that. It shows your tasks arranged by date with their start and end dates displayed, and the Gantt chart gives you a visual view of the schedule. One important tip for printing or downloading the Gantt chart: how your categories are collapsed or expanded in this view is exactly how they will appear in the printout or the download. That's all for the estimating phase schedule, and as always, if you have any questions, please let us know.